I agree. Thanks, Tony. Yeah. Especially when the equations have nothing to do with the arguments, right? Equations just describe at best. So I don't know what they're talking about. We're going to get into, well, we're just going to touch on the surface of some equations in the second part of the presentation. I'm going to do two short presentations today. One from the website. It appears this is kind of funny that I've been hearing a lot of flat earthers trying to prove the earth is flat. Just a news flash. That work's already been done for you, in case you hadn't noticed, right? We're going to talk about one today. We're going to get into the salar, right? What I think is one of the easiest and deadliest flat earth proofs. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Newtonian mechanics, because it seems that somebody has some difficulty in understanding that Newtonian mechanics, all of it, is bunk. So I don't even know why it's being entertained. I think I gave my my position paper on Newtonian mechanics not too long ago, but I don't know what it is. People just, I guess they like to argue or something. I don't know. But we're gonna put a silver dagger into that one for like the 675,898th time. So maybe it'll become clear. Confidence isn't high, though. Tell you that.
Well, the problem is that even though it has been even officially negated, they've moved on, right? Well, from the priesthood, people have been given permission to think of gravity as a force, which would definitely resonate with the Newtonian model. So, right, if you're given a permission to do it, then yeah, of course it's going to happen. People will just keep continuing to assert Newtonian gravity.
I love it. It's like big hanging watermelon-sized curveballs. Continue to do it then, I would suppose. Just the flat earthers that do it, that bring it up. You're just asking for it. I'm telling you. But that's okay. Continue to do it. It's all right. Keeps me in business. All right. Any more business before we get on to this? Where are we at here? That's not what I want. That's what I want. And computer sounds off. I don't think we want to hear the music here. I would like to hear it, but I don't think YouTube would like to hear it. And I'm not sharing this with Discord. So guys, if you can go to the watch page. So this is right off the website. It's called Flat Earth Proofs. There's a whole load of them. Once I get my web designer back from Safari, I'll go ahead and add the sextant. But I really don't need it. It's just, how would you say, icing on the cake compared to the proofs that I have in here now. We're going to go over this one because, like I said, I think this is one of the easiest ones and deadliest. There's no way around this argument. So, according to the heliocentric, sun-worshipping, spinning ball space monkey religion, every point along a tangent in every direction from your feet drops. That is vertical drop. I realize that's a bit redundant. I do that for the baltards because they can't figure out that drop is vertical, right? There's no other type of drop other than vertical drop, by the way. Duh. So drops, vertical drop away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. Funny how that happens. It's the quintessential tenet of your religion. And in every statement you guys make, you just get further and further away from it. That's okay. I'll just bring it right back to you. From Borsa et al., Topography of the Salar, Bolivia, from Kinematic GPS Geophysical Journal, International Volume 172, Issue 1, pages 31 and 40. Let's see what he has to say here. Right here, just in case you're not identifying it. The salar in the Bolivian Andes is the largest salt flat on Earth. I can stop right there. Essentially. You see this? You can't have flat on a sphere, period. So as soon as they say that, yeah, I don't understand. You say, oh, you're being pedantic. Yeah, because he said flat. So it's over right there. I digress. I'm not going to stop there. Is the largest salt flat on Earth, exhibiting less than 1 meter of vertical relief. That's vertical drop. Go look up vertical relief. It's drop in elevation, just to clue you. Over an area of 9,000 squared kilometers. Longer wavelengths in the DEM digital elevation model correlate well with the map gravity. Yeah. Suggesting a connection with broad-scale salar topography and the geoid hypothetical shape. Similar to that seen over the oceans. So what are they exactly saying here? Well, the salar is as flat as the oceans. That's what they're saying. Usually the arguments come up, they'll red herring fallacy the argument because they can't deal with it head on. They'll talk about this. Well, they're talking about gravity. What do you believe in? Gravity, Curie? And look, they said geoid. What do you think it's a geoid? No. See, this is the argument up here. Not how they got it, the information. The end product, the information. I could really care less about this. Now, these are other arguments. We can deal with that after the salar. I'll take you to the woodshed and then whip you around by your short hairs with that and your hypothetical geoid. That'll be not an issue. So this less than 1 meter vertical relief, see, that's the game right there. That's it. That's the coup de grace, because you can't have that on a sphere. That's a geometrical flat plane. You can't have that. Not on a sphere, you can't. Contradiction in terms. It's a paradox. Like I said, you can have a myriad of topographical features on a sphere. Mountains, ridges, spurs, saddles, depressions. You know what you can't have? A geometrical flat plane. And this one is over 9,000 square kilometers. Therefore, I love therefores. How can ballers stage 5 cling with a kung fu death grip to their fairy tale religion that has one of its foundational tenets, like I said before, vertical drop, and yet at the same time have a flat plane with less than 1 meter vertical drop over 9,000 square kilometers, pray tell? Like I said, violation of the law of non-contradiction. Just put paradox right beside it in big, bold letters. For an encore, can you reconcile married bachelors for us also? Because that's what it's tantamount to. This is real simple. Easy to reconcile. You ready? Ball-tard position. Like I said, according to the heliocentric sun-worshipping spinning ball space monkey religion, every point along a tangent in every direction from your feet drops, vertical drop away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. So we have on one hand, vertical drop. Study, on the other hand, the salar in the Bolivian Andes is the largest salt flat on Earth, exhibiting less than 1 meter of vertical relief. That's drop over an area of 9,000 square kilometers. So you got two different sides of the story here. One doesn't match with the other. In other words, the second part, the study has no vertical drop. So and like I said, it's a violation of law of non-contradiction. So can't have it. You can't hold two truths at the same time, mutually exclusive truths at the same time. You can't do that. Again, it's a paradox. See figure 6. Let's go to figure 6. It shows 100 kilometers, that's 62 miles north to south of the salar with less than 1 meter vertical drop. Let's check it out. You think I'm lying to you? Let's go ahead and find it. It's down there somewhere. Not there, not there. Bam! I'll make it a little bigger for you. Bam. Bam. See that? So you got alpha prime up here in the north and alpha down here in the south. From alpha to alpha prime is 100 kilometers, 62 miles of flat land. This is impossible on a sphere with less than 1 meter vertical drop. Can't have that. Why can't you have that? Well, because of their religion. It's 8 inches per mile squared drop, right? The spinning ball religion, over 100 kilometers, 62 miles, the vertical drop is 781 meters. You got to have that. The Bolivian salt flats, 100 kilometers, 62 miles, vertical drop is less than 1. It's over. Right here. Bam. We'll finish it up with the modus tollens and dance on the graves. Modus tollens, if P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles P, then there must be a measurable 781 meters of vertical drop over every 100 kilometer section of the Earth traversed, Q. Not Q, we do not measure 781 meters vertical drop over 100 kilometers of the salar. Therefore not P, the Earth is not a sphere. Alice in Wonderland is more tenable than the bald-tard spinning space monkey religion. The prosecution rests simple. They live in a fairy tale. The end. Questions, comments?
It's amazing how this all syncs up at once, because this is going to be my topic tomorrow on Flat Earth School, about how we measure the physical flat Earth. Because we get into maps, we get told by Globers, show us your flat Earth map. Every single map that we use from navigation, every single map that's been measured from the physical Earth that we live on is a flat Earth map. It has been physically measured flat. If you want to get into how we actually measure how flat it is, these measurements that you've just gone through, it's all been measured absolutely flat. All flat Earth maps.
Yeah, and they measured it. He's not a flat earther, right? He's a hostile witness. They measured it. I just stand with their results. Yeah,
it's in plain sight for them.
Yep.
They're just failing to come to the conclusion that we're coming to. They have to set up every single piece of their equipment as if they're looking across a flat plane. They have to treat everything as flat. And then they're measuring everything as flat. Where does the curvature come into it? Where does the globe come into it? You never take any curvature into consideration when making maps, when measuring the lay of the land. Yeah, there's elevation profiles, but that is across a flat plane.
Yes, sir.
We kind of bumbled across this on Flat Earth debate, I think probably a couple or 3 weeks ago now, onto the triangulation of India, how it was done. Triangulation's the key word again here. You know, all of these calculations, the different heights above sea level, they're taking the reading, the peaks they're trying to measure at different, it's all based on one premise, and that's a flat base. There's none of the calculations are that, well, we're measuring 2 miles here, or so we'll take in X amount of curvature, and no scale. There's none of that. All the triangulation is based with a flat base. It's not a curvy base. And we showed with that, and I think the Cassini map of France as well, which is even earlier, again, triangulation based, which is still accurate to Google Earth. There's an overlay I showed.
Well, as soon as you say triangulation, you invoke planar trigonometry.
Yeah.
So it's an you immediately invoke it. It comes right behind it. You can't get around it. You say triangulation, Baltard, you're finished. Quick death.
Got to have that flat base. Got to have that flat baseline.
Yep.
There's no there's no curved lines on a triangle.
Anything else with the salar? Like I said, this is an easy one. Right? This was my first flat Earth proof, by the way.
It's simple. You don't have to convolute it past this point. It's all measured with a flat baseline. You need flat, straight lines. And notice how they didn't bring in refraction with that at all. It's nothing to do with refraction through any of these measurements. It is just a flat, straight through if you're using a total station, a theodolite, whatever you're using to physically measure the layout of the land, you are looking in a straight line.
Anything else with the salar?
Well, yeah, but it's only like ramblings and pre-assumption. If you take it that it was on a ball, but it's still flat, horizontal, flat, then which tangent on the ball is it flat to? And more importantly, if it is flat, and as you can see that rather attractive lady skipping around there on the water, all that water covers the whole expanse by an inch or two. Now, the amount of curvature that would be expressed would mean that if water keeps its distance from the center of a ball, there'd be points on that horizontally flat plane where the water would drain up from, even though the plane is horizontally flat, and there the water would have to drain to the lowest point, which, if you segment a sphere, would be created, so you wouldn't get even distribution of water across that surface. That makes sense?
Yeah.
The only thing that didn't make sense is you don't know that's a lady, Adam. Everything else is correct.
Oh, just let me see it again. I'm going to check the bum.
Let's not go there, but yeah,
It was a
right,
little bit Tales of the Unexpected, if you know that. It was a little bit exceptionally camp. It's a bloke throwing those shapes. That's all I'd say. Now you've got me worried. You've got me worried now, Mitchell.
Let's get back to flat Earth. Sorry for digressing. Absolutely, everything that we measure is absolutely flat. It's undeniable. I don't know, where does the globe, the curvature, come into it? That's an afterthought. But you have to presuppose that you are on a globe. You are never ever measuring any curvature on the reality that we live on, our flat plane. You have to set up everything is flat. You have to measure everything is flat. You put everything into the maps as flat. Where does the curvature come into it? Globe believers, show us your map that you use to navigate that takes into account curvature or the globe. You will not have one.
Nope.
It's a chick, or it's a dude in a leotard that's post-op.
Post-op.
Looking at the bum. It's a chick. Oh,
It's
God.
fake.
Turn the gaydar off. I'm happy. Oof. Imagine the trolls on that.
Always got to check.
But you get my point. If you have got an area of surface, yeah, that's segmented off a ball, and the behavior of water, even if they say, oh yeah, it's just a very flat area that is horizontally flat. I said it's so full of conjecture, but even if you had that, then their direction of gravity and therefore the flow of water would be different. Water wouldn't sit equidistant above the plane, horizontal plane. It would flow differently and pull, because the horizontal plane isn't equidistant.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. There's nothing that's locally flat, because you as you just said, you can't have different. Everything is meant to be going to the center of their presupposed spherical Earth. The globe is meant to be curving in all directions as you traverse it. There's nothing that's locally flat. To say that something is locally flat or appears locally flat, it doesn't work. Nothing appears locally flat. Everything is flat. Nothing appears to be curved.
In fact, it would pull at the center, wouldn't it? Because if you segment it, and the bit you cut off, the biggest bit is in the middle. Therefore, you cut off. Therefore, technically, on a ball, even though it's flat, that middle bit you've cut off in the middle is significantly lower by the height, isn't it? The height of the hump that you've just cut off. So technically, it would all pull in the middle and then distribute out, being probably pointlessly geeky. But the point is, it wouldn't sit equidistant like it's demonstrating there. It wouldn't be one even height above the surface of the salt plane.
See how painful this is to try and understand that we're living on a globe. All we have to do on a flat Earth is just set up our equipment and measure it. There's no like, oh, how does this work here? How do we explain it? We don't have to explain anything. We measure it. We see it. We live it. We navigate it as flat.
Right. We don't have to apply math as much as the Globers do. They have to build the machinations to make it seem spherical somehow. We just look at it. It's right there. It's flat.
You got Al Baruni talking trash in chat.
Uh-oh, we got Neil in here. Someone didn't warn us. Betty?
Ooh, yeah, I wanted to say the New Yorker is here, but yeah, there was so much rambling going on.
They were
Talking trash.
rambling.
As you confuse elevation. Wait, Kiwi confuses elevation with flatness. I'm shocked. Yeah, you shocked. He won't join because he says he gets muted. Stop crying, cat skank.
Don't
Right.
deal
By the
with
way,
chat.
awesome videos you're playing
What's that?
on the YouTube. Really awesome video.
Oh,
The
that's off the
dance on the
website. I
water,
was gonna.
really beautiful.
Oh yeah, I was gonna touch on that on the website. Let's go back to it. Yeah, on the website, this is the Salar proof, and there's music. I had to hush the music because it would YouTube wouldn't like that. They would probably copyright me. But sometimes I'll just go here and just stop right here. It's mesmerizing, right? This is it's a calming influence, definitely.
It's
So
really
therapeutic.
beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
She is a very talented dancer.
Oh yes, most
Yes,
definitely.
especially when the sun was right behind her and I wasn't sure whether she was clothed or not.
Unbelievable. You guys are so much easily distracted, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's called being single for 8 years. Give me a break.
It's not being man, I hope.
That
What was
will
that you said
suffice.
about attractive women dancing, Betty?
So, again, sorry?
Oh, you're gonna have to take that off screen, John. Otherwise,
Well, we got this womanly jealousy going on, of course. Right?
But it is pretty amazing to see just the flatness of the water, the mirror getting slightly distorted by the footsteps, and the sun just reflecting. It is really quite a sight. Brilliant. Who came up with this? Brilliant.
I thought so.
Yeah, the sun reflecting
I got
off
a
that nice
question.
flat surface.
I got a quick question.
You got a quick question on this on the Salar?
Well, it's about the measuring it flat. You're saying they can't, or they don't, or is that for a different subject?
No, I didn't catch what you just said, but go ahead, try it again.
That they don't measure it, or they always measure it flat.
Who are they?
Anybody who measures the Earth, it's measured flat.
Yes. Right
so-
here is a shining example.
Okay, now here's my question. I've talked to two land surveyors, and both of them said that they actually do measure curvature. Now,
Really?
what do I do? Just call them a liar, or
You ask them to show you their results, and more importantly, how they got their results. I need
okay.
I need a little bit more information to expose them. Just a little bit more.
what was going to be my question? Not two parts, just one. But how do you measure this curvature?
Okay. Basically, let me rephrase that. They didn't say they measured curvature. They say that they never measured it flat. So, if that makes any difference.
Oh, well, that sounds like a semantic argument where technically they're correct, because I've never measured anything that's totally flat. Even my shelf, a flat shelf isn't totally flat. So it sounds like a semantic excuse.
Pedantic.
So are they, when they measure stuff, are they taking into account the curvature of the Earth? Are they, and if not, then there's no argument. If they are, how are they measuring and confirming this? Bearing in mind it's a geoid.
I just wait for the reciprocal. I just wait for the reciprocal zenith angles, and then you're finished. Surveyors, just say it, right? And then woe unto you, what's about to happen to you next. All right. Anything else, Scrat? Any more questions?
No, I'm good for right now. Thanks.
Yep. Anything on the salar?
No, I think it's devastating proof.
I agree. We about ready to jump into the next one? I think we are. Betty, any business?
Nope.
Why the hell not?
Well, I'm not into the business.
Not you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's take a look, little look at this. This is for flat earthers and flat earthers only, right? Whenever Newtonian mechanics is brought up, or classical mechanics, if you hear classical mechanics, right, that's Newton. Whenever you hear Newton, that's classical mechanics. So we're not anyone, there's no confusion out there. So we'll take it right from their alma mater. Wiki. Newton's classical mechanics were superseded, right? Superseded in the early 20th century when Albert Einstein developed the special and general theory of relativity, period. Over. Why do I even have to talk about this any further? Unless we're confused on what superseded means. I think everyone knows what that means, right? I don't need to go get a definition for you. I think it's pretty self-evident. And then you say, well, it's wiki. Okay, I understand that because wiki is a poor source. I'm just using it as a hostile witness because they're wiki parroting pretender clowns. That's where they go. See, if wiki would all of a sudden shut down for like 2 or 3 months, there'd be no baltards left. That's why I do it. But we don't need that. We don't need wiki. Let's go to Phys Libra text. We'll go to a professor of physics and see what he has to say about it. Newton's 2 crowning achievements, the laws of motion. See where I'm going? We're not talking about gravity so much here, right? But it's gravity also, but the laws of motion, yeah? And the laws of gravitation, so both. That's all 3 laws of motion that had reigned supreme since published in the Principia, shout out to Adam, in 1687, were toppled from the throne by Einstein. I don't know what else to say. Pretty cut and dry. There's no like question here. He's not waffling. He's pretty matter of fact. Like he even uses some colorful rhetorical language to help emphasize the point. Right? And it echoes from this one up here. Newton's classical mechanics were superseded. Superseded by who? Albert Einstein. Seems echoed right here. That the laws of motion and gravitation were toppled from the throne by Einstein. So, what's up? You're finished right here. From Professor Jacob D. Becketstein, let's ante up. From Caltech, Einstein also replaced the Newtonian law of motion by the statement that free test particles move along geodesics, the shortest curves in space-time geometry. It's over, right? It's echoes, right? Einstein replaced Newton in everything, in every facet. Now we're really up in the ante on the Baltardo meter. We're going to Richard Feynman, who they praise. They have statues dedicated in his honor. They kneel at the altar of Richard Feynman. So let's see what Richard Feynman has to say. This is a double barrel right here. I love this. The discovery, this is from Richard Feynman, lecture on quantum electrodynamics. The discovery, listen closely. The discovery of quantum mechanics first then in the behavior of light, then in the behavior of matter, finally culminating in 1926 with the full equation of quantum mechanics, which told us that the laws of motion of Newton were not right. Let me say that again. Which told us that the laws of motion of Newton, these guys, what we're talking about, were not right. I don't know what else to say. I don't think he's waffling much here either. And finally, from the Feynman lectures, again from Caltech, even though the law F equals ma is false, but what else is there? And all the derivations of Newton were wrong for the conservation of momentum. In quantum mechanics, nevertheless, in the end, that particular law maintains itself. What particular law maintains itself? This one. Conservation of momentum. Not this one. Because he already killed it with false. So I guess we're going to have discussions on what false means. False, superseded, were not right, replaced, toppled from the throne. Do we have to get into what those exactly mean here? Is that where we're at? All right. Newton's dead. Literally and figuratively, he's dead. It's all over for Newton. It has been for 106 years because he was replaced by Einstein. Then quantum mechanics dealt him a death blow. And Einstein. So we're just waiting for you to parrot the correct pseudoscience, and then we'll get the cases with Einstein. But you guys don't even understand Einstein, right? We all know this. We've known this for years. So we're just waiting for you to parrot the correct pseudoscience. I realize that there's flat earthers out there that entertain you and still allow you to go on and on and on with Newton. Well, you've got one that won't right here. As soon as I hear Newton, according to my last statement on Newton, my position statement, it's all over for you. I'm going to tear you up. Quick. Comments, questions?
Yeah, I got one. Every time I use these citations, they just completely ignore them. Every time I bring them up, they just completely ignore them.
Of course, because this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with fanatical religitard zealots that are not parroting the correct pseudoscience. They are this left fuckwit faction that just makes shit up. Right? But I death blow them. They're dead. So whistle past the graveyard by your priests that you fail to parrot. You only parrot them when it's good for you. Right? That ain't gonna work. See this one? That ain't gonna work. Not working. So you can whistle past the graveyard all you want. We'll just present these and then start laughing at you. Now, if you want to get into why Newton's laws were pummeled, I can very easily do that. I'll go step by step with you. I'm not going to do it here today. I've done it hundreds of times, but I can do that too. We can get down into the nitty gritty. I'll kill it quick. Any more comments?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
They'd rather argue about whether it's gravity is Newtonian based or Einsteinian based, because that's an easier argument for them. When it comes into reality, actually what gravity is in our reality, what it does, that is the hard argument. That's what they want to stay away from. So when they like to parrot the Newtonian gravity, and they will try their hardest to stay in that conversation of whether it's Newtonian or whether it's Einsteinian, because that's the easy conversation, like I said. They don't want to get to the conversation where you apply it to your reality. What is gravity? They have to answer that question because it all falls apart.
This guy's an idiot. He's screenshotting my conversation with him. I'm going to kill this guy. Why can't I see France from USA? Is he kidding me? Really? We're going back there?
Are you eating your banana, John?
Yeah.
I knew it. Usually Adam is up around these times.
Yeah, I took my first bite when Adam started talking just a little while ago, but then he ended quick. Caught me off guards.
Oh, yeah.
How could you tell? Can you tell that I got banana?
It was just a feeling. It was
Uh-huh.
just a feeling of like, yeah, too
Feeling.
long pause. Not that feeling, Adam.
I thought you said appealing,
Oh,
which I thought was a very good pun.
appealing, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, you got the peel in. I was thinking about something else. You and your
Mhm.
puns. Dang, freaking 10th man has taken over these puns. People are just looking for them now.
Oh, well, that's half the fun of it.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun.
So Neil is like crossing swords with a guy in Bobo's chat, I think.
I told him
Is that-
not to. Don't entertain chat skanks. You're an enabler.
I fell for it. Like
You fell for it.
friends from USA. It's too far away. Next.
Everyone is free to come on Discord and share their pain.
Good point, Mitchell. The link is in the description box. Just hit the link. I forget saying that all the time. Thank you. Just hit the link. You can pop on in here if you have any issues, especially what like what we discussed, the salar or Newtonian mechanics, the laws of motion or gravity, either one. Come on in.
The water's warm.
It is.
No sharks.
No sharks at all.
Only barracudas.
Their excuse is that you mute them. I would love for them to come on.
If I mute them when they're being reasonable, then I'll lose all my subscribers. So that is feeble, nonsensical horsebucky. So come on in and you act like an adult, put forth your claims, and you will not be muted.
Why is there no one resisting this, fellow believers? Why are you not here defending your religion? Is it because you can't defend it? Is that what you're scared of? You can't stand up and say, no, we're wrong? Is it because we're right, fellow believers? Where are you?
You know what's amazing is that they, all these citations that you brought, it's amazing how they'll explain it away and they'll say, oh, well, even though, yes, it is superseded, but we still use Newtonian, law of gravity to explain it in a more simpler term. And the theory of special relativity is more accurate, but it's more complicated. So it's crazy how they'll just explain it away.
You got a problem right there, and this is going to
It's called
be
philosophical freedom.
You got a problem right here. Number one, you made a mistake and you said special relativity. Listen to the numpty clips. I don't think, not tomorrow. Well, listen to tomorrow's, but if you listen to next week numpty clips, gravity's going to become right to the forefront. Not only gravity, but gravity's going to be discussed, and what they actually think, and what they don't know is that special relativity, the one that you just referred to, debunks, like flies in the face of the universal law of gravitation. It's not a law, but Newtonian, and it's not Newton's either, right? But as it's colloquially known, is Newton's universal law of gravitation and special relativity are paradoxical. So whenever they say, well, all Einstein did with his field equations, of course, they don't even know what they are. All Einstein did, you see, Newton's equations are embedded inside general relativity, inside the field equations. They're so moronic. They have no depth or no understanding of the topic whatsoever, is that if that were true, then general relativity, all the field equations or special relativity would debunk general relativity. And vice versa, by the way.
What is the difference between special relativity and general relativity?
Special relativity is flatland. Essentially, special relativity is flatland, and general relativity is the four-dimensional space-time. If you want to get down to just a grassroots difference, that's the biggest difference. Shockingly.
What do you mean by flatland?
That's flatland. Special relativity basically speaks to flatland. Deals with speed. Essentially, it has no more or less geometry spoken about. It's flatland. If you ask anybody with any knowledge in special relativity, they'll tell you that.
It's when they start to basically mathematically straighten out presupposed curves, right? Mathematically and all that. Right?
Why would they do that?
Why do they do what?
What Erwin just said. Why would they mathematically straighten out presupposed curves?
Because it's so mathematically convenient to just assume things to be straight lines, right? Less hassle. Allows you to bring in more complex situations and still be able to calculate it easily, because globe geometry is the most clunky setup you can ever imagine.
You guys, don't get off the point though. If they say that Newtonian mechanics or Newton's equations for gravity are embedded in general relativity, then that debunks special relativity. Just stick with that. You're good. You could just laugh and walk away. It's over. You need some proof of that. Let me see if I can scare that up. 1 second. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. Smoke them if you got them.
Well,
Yep. I just wanted to say, QE, that I heard the exact same argument from the globe side just the other day. And the argument was that capital G that was found out by Cavendish and Boyce was ultimately used by Einstein in his field equations. So capital G, since he is using,
That's
how
not
can
Newton.
he?
That's not Newton's. You will not find big G anywhere in Newton and with Newton. That's where they screw up.
Yeah, even then, even if we attribute it to Cavendish and Boyce, even then, ultimately, capital G's value is there in Einstein's equations.
Oh, they could be there all day long. I don't really care. It just makes my job easier. 1 second, I'm almost there. All right,
what's the difference between big G and little g?
This is pretty funny. Hold on a second.
Little g associates to the typical signs like acceleration rates and all that, right?
Yeah, I'm aware, but
It is the overall assumption that it's all attracted to a central point.
no, I'm talking about capital G.
Right, big G, capital G, right. In physics.
1 second.
I was hearing a lot of background that was droning you out, Erwin. Can you say that
Yeah,
one more time,
I'm
please?
noticing it. Yeah.
It's the gravitational constant I'm talking about, capital G. Big G.
Hold on, guys. You guys are getting away. Like I said, you guys are getting away from the point. So let's get back to this.
I think I get what Arthur's saying is, to put it in a nativity way, he's saying that Einstein's big G was born in a shed with two balls.
Newton's.
Absolutely.
No, hold on a
Came from
second. Hold on.
Cavendish,
Wait. Get it? Number one, we have to be precise. It's Newton's big G. Now, it's not even Newton's, though, because you'll find no big G anywhere in Newton's literature, because big G wasn't conjured until like 250 years after Newton died. Right? And remember, Newton said he didn't want to have anything to do with the fairy tale of gravity. Remember, right?
Right. So he foresaw its coming. Couldn't you state that? He foresaw its coming and placed a disclaimer. Like, this is wrong. I don't want to be part of that. But he foresaw it coming in the future, like an inevitability.
All right. So let's get down to this. I put it up. I'll give you a couple seconds so you can see it in on the watch page. Let me know when it pops up.
Let me shout out the super chat in the meantime.
Please.
You got a sticker, and I think it's a mic drop from Godzilla 37. You know what a sticker is?
I got a sticker. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
you got
sticker.
It's sort of an emoji that drops a mic. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm familiar. Yes.
I tried to sort of describe it, but you didn't get it.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
So, Scrat, check this out. So they keep on appealing to Newton's law of gravity. We all know it's not Newton's law, right? It's Cavendish, CV boys, Reverend John Michel, but we'll just use Newton because everyone knows Newton, okay? So we got Andrea Ghez, UCLA professor of physics and astronomy. Einstein's right, at least for now, said Ghez, a co-lead author of the research. We can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity. What you gonna do with that? This one. What you gonna do with that? Oh, the tangled webs we weave. Now, for the more important part. Remember I was talking about that violation of special relativity? From Britannica.com, because Isaac Newton's law of gravity serves so well in explaining the behavior of the solar system, the question arises why it was necessary to develop a new theory of gravity. We'll get back to that in a second. The answer is that Newton's theory violates special relativity. Oh, boy. Yeah, for it requires an unspecified action at a distance through which any two objects, such as the sun and Earth, instantaneously pull each other, no matter how far apart. However, instantaneous response would require the gravitational interaction to propagate at an infinite speed, which is precluded by special relativity. Remember I was talking about speed with special relativity? In this case, it's at instantaneous action at a distance. All right, so if you don't believe Britannica, let's get to Professor John D. Norton from Department of History and Philosophy of Science at the University of Pittsburgh. Newton's celebrated theory of gravitation presumed instantaneous action at a distance. The sun now exerts a gravitational force on the Earth, now with the magnitude set by Newton's inverse square law. The key part was the now. If the sun were to move slightly, the resulting alteration in the force it exerts on the Earth would be felt by us instantaneously, according to Newton. That means that Newton's theory depends upon a notion of absolute simultaneity. A change felt there is felt here at the same moment. However, Einstein's 1905 theory, guess what that one is? Special relativity, had banished absolute simultaneity from physics. It's over. Kablooey! So, as soon as you say Einstein's general relativity has Newton's equation embedded, which is nonsensical buffoonery at a geometrical level, but just on the surface, you're saying general relativity violates special relativity? You clowns! Busted! I got you by the short hairs, and I ain't gonna let go, by the way. Questions, comments? That's what I thought.
The quiet is good. Huh? Yeah.
What can you say? What can you say? He just spelled it out for you, right? Do you want him to put it in? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Mitchell.
Yeah, I was just saying, speak now, global believers, or forever hold your peace. This is your chance. We're live here. We're taking apart your religion. Where are you? Why aren't you defending this? Are we correct?
It's not us that are saying it. It's your own fairy tale priest that you failed to parrot correctly. I'm not saying this. This isn't me. This doesn't have quantum eraser. I'm not Britannica. I'm not Andrea Ghez.
They grab a hold of special general relativity with no evidence.
Most don't even know it. We've been asking this because they've been parrot. What they do is mainly they'll say this stuff in their echo chambers that the field equations, Newtonian Newton's equations of the universal law of gravitation are embedded or are already inside Einstein's equation, but they'll just say it. No one ever shows it. No one has showed me Einstein's field equations, much less Newtonian mechanics within Einstein's field equation in 5 years. Nobody. They don't even know what the equation, none of the rank and file baltards that we know and love, they don't know Einstein's field equations. They don't know what they are. They couldn't identify all the variables.
What?
Again?
You said that we know and love. With the ball parts, you know and love. Okay, that's a new thing for me.
Thanks for concentrating on that.
Yeah. Well, I was concentrating on something else, but I was so.
What? Crackers with sesame seeds on them?
Yeah, thanks. Putting me in that category.
I'll put you in that category if I want to.
Yeah, you already did.
So what we got? Like I said, I'm not Professor John D. Norton. This is just basic stuff. Everyone knows this. Like anyone that can fog a mirror that's been around, quote unquote science, they already know this. Why don't you, baltards? Why? Because you're just wiki parroters. Wiki doesn't even know this stuff, man. This is another level above your average wiki parrot.
This is just going to turn into like John's scientific method, quantum erasers scientific method. This is just going to turn into quantum erasers gravity.
Yeah. You're finished. You're finished. It's all over but the crying.
Well, my question I asked earlier, I guess I didn't ask it right. Why is Einstein accepted so much when it can't be supported with experimentation?
That's a great question, Scott. I have no idea. I don't know why it's not. I suppose there was a lot of pushback in the beginning, from what I read, back when general relativity first came out. There was a lot of quote unquote scientists calling it horsebucky. If you go back into the literature of that time, you could see some of that. But I don't know why it took hold. Basically, general relativity can be debunked by incoherent third graders. It's one massive reification fallacy. It reifies space and time into physicalness when they're not. They're concepts. Just at its base, incoherent third graders can debunk it. We don't even have to get into quantum mechanics at all. You can just debunk it right on the surface. It's fallacious. Right on the surface. But I can go into quite some depth, even granting them the reification fallacy. I won't do that here, but. Follow?
There was a bit on Flat Earth debate. They were covering Einstein, Newtonian. And there was something Nathan said that kind of jarred my memory from A-level physics. and doing back then an experiment for. So I looked it up, John, and it's basically how it's called practical determination of little g. And this is what is taught at A level. So I'll just quickly read the aims and the variables. Aims of the experiment. The overall aim of the experiment is to calculate the value of the acceleration due to gravity.
Stop.
No, don't stop, because you don't need to interject. Otherwise, your head will burst when I get to variables. Point 2 of aims. This is done by measuring the time it takes for a ball bearing to fall a certain distance. The acceleration is then calculated using the equation of motion. Variables. Independent variable, height. Dependent variable, time, t.
What?
Control. Same steel boring, same electromagnet. Distance between the ball bearing and the top of the glass tube is kept controlled. Yes. So independent variable is height. Dependent variable is time.
Really?
That's
Really, height causes time.
Yeah. That's the experimental determination of Newton's G taught
What?
still today at English A level.
What did you say? A level physics?
Yes.
You got this in visual form?
I did this. I'll send you the link to the A level exam.
Can you put it in Ballbusters chat right here?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it now.
Let me and I'll show it on screen if possible.
That's pretty sad.
There was a lot. As soon as your first the half a sentence in your first sentence, you're debunked. Not you, but that was debunked.
That's what I said. Just hold.
Yeah, you said hold.
There's so much in there. Yeah, but the thing is, this is that I remember doing. I quit A level physics after the first year. It's just like crap like this. I was like trying to reconcile it in my head, and I just thought I don't want it to do with this anymore. I like chemistry. That makes sense. So I dropped this and did psychology. But like I say, it's this kind of nonsense, but that I couldn't reconcile in my head. How are you measuring a force when all you're doing is dropping a ball? Where's the measurement of the force? And what's sad is it's still taught today.
I'm still waiting on you.
I've not put it in the right. I put it in chat.
Not in Skype. Put it in Ballbusters live stream here in Discord.
Oh no, I put it in Earth Debate main chat. Sorry, right there. Paste. All right.
All right. Let me see if I can't pull it up into some semblance of. Okay. Let me see what. Hold on a second. I'm probably going to have to make this a little bit bigger, but I'll get it. Get over here. Make us. Hey, get out of there. Ah. Yeah, I just killed the stream.
You are.
What have you done, Adam?
Yeah, I exited. Hold on a second, guys. I just exited that. 1 second.
How the hell have you blamed me there, Mitchell?
It was a fine stream before you try to do a presentation, Adam.
What have you done? You're still up, John. You're still on.
I don't see how.
I saw the link and I've got Google page up. I've saved the stream, Mitchell.
Didn't doubt you for a second, Adam. Don't care what no one says about you.
That's it, legend. Player of legend. Pulled it back from the dead, that stream.
Did I pull it? Hold on a second.
Yeah. No, I took the blame. I'm taking the credit.
Select the new key.
Now I'm looking at your channel content, so I'm a bit behind, but still good. Unless you have killed it.
Let me hit it. This should be good.
Numpty clips forever.
Cancel. What if I change? Am I going to screw this up?
It was getting painful for the glow believers though. So you've shown a bit of mercy.
How about now? We back up? Looks like we might be back up. You guys got me out there, chat? Give me a heads up out there in chat if you still got me out there. Had a little mistake. Killed the stream.
Sound seems to be coming through just loud and clear over there.
Really? Hey, James, thanks a lot, man, for the super chat. We got, where would flat Earth be without the historic QE? Thanks, James. Appreciate that, man. Hey, QE, it's time to take off the gloves. Give him the bare knuckle. I've been doing that for a long time, James. What's up, Chocolate? See, now everyone comes out of the woodwork now that I killed the stream. Oh, I never left. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I should have left because I exited out everything.
Yeah, some strange stuff presenting, by the way.
Oh, sorry about that. There you go. Yep, it's on my we good now? Yeah, we should be good. Sorry about that, folks. I hit the wrong exit button.
Yeah, it's a good way to get the globe believers in here. Pretend that you leave the stream and then say, oh no, it's been killed, we're not live anymore, and they stream in.
Yeah, hey, thanks, James. Appreciate that, man.
Unmute.
Thank you, James. Appreciate that. All right, let's see if we can't get back on board with Adams. See if I can't do this right this time.
What Adam just detailed there is it becomes too hard to understand. You drop it and you don't pick it back up, and that's what the globe believers do. It is easier for the globe believers just to drop what we're talking about here, not to think about it. It's no wonder that we don't have these discussions with the globe believers, because yeah, they don't pick it back up. They don't want to look at it again. It is too painful.
All right, I got this up. Is it the AQA, A-level physics? Is that what you got here, Adam?
Yes, yeah. They've my.
It's 4.3.7. It's the required practical determination of little g.
Yeah.
So here's the required practical determination of little g. Aims of the experiment. Experiment? The overall aim of the experiment is to calculate. You're dead right there. You're dead right there. Experiments don't calculate. It has nothing to do with calculations. It's all experiments are qualitative by definition, not quantitative. So it's dead right. That's why I tried to stop Adam in the middle of his first sentence, because I heard that. As soon as somebody says experiment, I'm waiting for the next words. So I stopped it right there at calculate. That's how you know it's a bunch of baloney. How could you do any calculations? How can you even have an experiment when Newton himself told you that he doesn't feign any hypotheses? How is this even possible, A-level? Right? Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about little g. It doesn't matter anyway. Experiment is to calculate the value of the acceleration due to gravity. Really? What's that? That doesn't sound like any Einsteinian. There is no acceleration in Einsteinian gravity, by the way. We'll be listening to Veritasium right at the end here if you missed the beginning of the show, and he'll tell you that too. Clowns. This is done by measuring. You're done. Measuring the time. The time it takes for a ball bearing to fall a certain distance. Really? Let's use a helium atom. The acceleration, that's you don't have acceleration and gravity there, folks, is then calculated using an equation of, what equation of motion might that be? It better not be any of Newton's. Variables. Oh, I see where you wanted to go with this. Independent variables, height, dependent variables, time. So, folks, what this is saying is height causes time. Look at their definition. The variable you change, you got that right. Unaffected by other variables. That's correct, but it's incomplete. The independent variable is the cause factor. So the cause factor, height causes time. This is preposterous. This is A-level. What, for Elmer Fudd University? This is preposterous, Adam.
I know. This is why I couldn't let you just pause on the first sentence, because there's too much in that.
Yeah, right.
The shenanigans have to be just seen. Like I said, I remember this. It was a point in my education, John, where I quit physics. Yeah, I didn't want to do this. It didn't make sense to me. Yeah, like chemistry made sense. I could understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I could rationalize it. This, I remember doing it, thinking, what, why, how does this prove that? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I don't think back then I could have taken it apart to my teacher. I'd love to step back in time now. That dependent. In fact, if I go high enough, will that change time so that I could speak to my teacher? Or low enough? I'm not sure which way the dependent and independent variable work there, but under what they're saying, yeah, I change my height, then I could go back in time. So I could speak to my teacher
when they were younger.
yeah, but honestly, it's lovely. When it came up today, it was lovely to come back and see and see it with my eyes of an old man now,
right?
With my flat eyes and realize why I had such issues with it. Like I say, why I quit A-level physics. It didn't make sense. I couldn't rationalize it in my own head for it to build a model in your own head, which you could do with chemistry. But this explains why, because it's horse pucky. Because there is no force there that I'm measuring. I'm dropping something, measuring how long it takes to drop it, not with the pre-assumption that the higher it is, the longer it will take to drop. But the pre-assumption that if I measure that number, it will tell me how big the force is. It's just
there is no force in gravity. And I like this little cushion to land. I'll tell you what, well, they have this little cushion. What if I drop some helium or hydrogen or nitrogen or oxygen or water vapor? What if I drop that? Do I need a cushion down here?
That don't count.
This is pretty funny, Adam. A-level physics, huh? More like moron level.
Height causes time. Is that why Will Shatner wanted to go up so high? Because he thought that height causes time. You go back in time and be a bit younger.
Yep. Unbelievable. Evaluating the experiment. You don't got an experiment. That's pretty funny, Adam. I wanted to share that with everyone. Yep. See if I'm still live streaming. Yes.
Find it appalling, not funny.
Oh, Neil. Come on. It's a game. Play the game. Keep playing. Know the answer and don't be so resentful. It's better for you.
Neil seems to be harboring some hateful grudge towards chat skanks.
No, everything. It's all pseudoscience. Should have been stopped right in the beginning.
Yeah, but the ones that didn't stop it were the ones that were assigned to stop it. Right? So the game didn't turn out to be like that. We're the ones that have to stop it for ourselves. And that way we outgrow them. Don't be resentful.
Betty, save us.
you could, Neil, take that very high moral high ground that Arwen presents, or you could just laugh at them, right? Because they've got nothing, mate, have they? Look at the crap they're throwing. They've got nothing.
Thanks, Betty.
Right. They're
Okay.
super desperate. They're so desperate. It's like we have to, like, when we tap into the ballers these days, we have to like get used to it. Like, oh wait, they're this desperate, because by our default, that's not normal. We don't have to go there. We don't have to sink that deep. No, they're really desperate. They are by their works, by the proof, the fruits that they bear. and we feel it every time. It's like, oh, there's an anti-flat earther doing something. Okay, well, get ready to lower yourself to their level just to be able to understand why they're doing what they're doing, right? That's the reality.
Yeah, but then they show you some pictures of windmills. What is he trying to show me? That the windmills go over a hump? Are you kidding me?
Well, that's just goes to show how desperate they are, right? They're still trying to
I've
play
heard the
your
platform
game,
up
even though you know the moves. We know the moves, right? They're trying to like, oh, come on, let's play that game again. Maybe this time I'll win. This is like a gambling addiction thing almost. They just keep on betting on sure losses, and they just don't want to give up. That's what they do.
Betty, save us. Betty.
What?
Oh, there. What?
Yeah, what?
Give you what?
Save you from what? You're doing fine.
Thought I seen you deafened there for a second. What's happening?
Yeah, because there was something on the television that caught my attention.
Oh, so you just thought you'd go deafen and listen to that?
Yeah.
Where's
exactly.
your heart at?
At the
Oh,
television?
Betty's banana time.
Oh, come on, John, get over it. You're not the only one on the internet. I was just watching Jim Bob's entire live stream exactly while I was here. So
Guards!
Has
Snatch.
anybody seen Squid Games?
All right.
I'm telling you, insane show.
Squid Games is for numpties.
Squid Games is insane.
All right, we're circling the drain. Any thoughts on the salar? Anything on Newtonian mechanics that's dead on arrival? Anything on those?
Oh, didn't you just kill it?
I
Maybe
killed
we
the
should
stream.
start calling it Numptonian mechanics.
Numptonian. You know, I personally feel a little bad for Newton. I don't know why that
I
is.
agree. He
Say again?
officially disclaimed association, right? That
Yep.
is a mark of recognition
Yep.
of what's going on and a sense of pride. And I respect that, absolutely. But it's really funny though, calling it Numptonian mechanics.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, and I try to put that disclaimer out every time I talk about it. It's troublesome because you kind of get off the topic a little bit, but I have to do it every single time because we've heard it over and over again throughout life. Newtonian mechanics, classical mechanics, right? And everyone associates that with more or less gravity in this specific case. But he said not to ascribe that stuff to him, so I have to caveat it every time and talk about Reverend John Michel, Cavendish, and CV boys. So I don't want to put all of it onto him.
John.
He's the most strawmanned figure in history we know at current day.
Go ahead, sir.
So I'll say Tony brought it up, and he brought a couple of references from the Principia.
Principia.
Of Newton. Yeah. So from the Principia, he says... I'll stop it.
Principia.
Yeah, it's like you'd know. Within the references...
You wise ass.
You started that shit. Within it, he describes it in his very actual his terms, not what's ascribed to him later. And he does make specific reference to gravity as this thing, but he also makes reference to a little bit of the medium, not forsaking air and stuff. Now, all of the formulas don't take air into account, or none of the fluid dynamics that would affect anything. But much later, so I think if you look at Newton, he's defendable because most of the things that we have issue with him, he doesn't, as he says at the end, don't ascribe it to me. He knows what's coming, I think. And he does ascribe, has these disclaimers in that you can look at, and he has a bigger understanding. He doesn't think and this is the point, they're basic mechanics, Newton's, yeah, with an assumption that there's something driving it, maybe, but they're actually just like droppings. They're derived from reality, and he tries to backwork it from reality. So much of his work has validity that I'd hate to poo-poo him.
Yes.
Yeah, because most of the poo-pooing goes to the people after him that follow his work and suggest that what he negates himself from is the causation, and build on that. And that's the fundamental bit. Once he's put those basic mechanics in, mechanics being the key word, they then build on that with the presupposition that it's driven by G and all its supposition.
Yes. Now that doesn't take into account the laws of motion are still bunk. He did the best that he could, right? But our main complaints are with the parroted Newton's gravity. Oh, let me put a couple more. 1 second. I want to nitpick. I'm going to nitpick here. I'm going to point out. I'm going to point.
Newton never knew how to deal with gases, didn't he?
Can I
hold on?
Can I nitpick on the Bagork bit? They still hold true. Yeah, if you want to calculate something roughly, yeah, they hold true. But that doesn't mean they're an explanation of reality. And there's a big difference to them holding true in terms of numbers that are useful, to them having any validity in their explanation of how things work.
Yeah, I got big problems with that, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it right now. I would like to nitpick, like I said. I put it back up on screen because I want to show the audience something that should stand out to them. I didn't see any remarks in chat when I should have. I wasn't setting you guys up or anything, but I didn't see any in chat. That doesn't mean it could have passed me by. So I want to point this out. Let's go to Britannica first. Let's see if, and no one on the panel said anything. It says, because Isaac Newton's law of gravity, right? That's correct. See that? Law? Right? That's correct. Serves so well in explaining the behavior of the solar system, the question arises why it was necessary to develop a new theory. What? Well, laws aren't theories. So there wasn't a new theory, Britannica. It was the law first. There wasn't a new theory. For there to be a new one, there had to be an old one. There wasn't an old one. It was a law. The answer is that Newton's theory, Newton never developed a scientific theory in his life. Not with gravity, not with anything. You see that? It's very subtle, but it's a belly laugher. Now, Britannica, they have some good sources. Most of their sources are professional, so I don't want to be too hard on them, but it's nonsensical buffoonery. I'm going to take issue with Professor John D. Norton. He's making the same mistake. Look at this. Newton's celebrated theory of gravitation. He didn't have a theory of gravitation, Professor Norton. You see this. This will get you confused. Gravitational new inverse one force exerts. Newton, here he goes again. Newton's theory. Newton never developed a scientific theory in his life on anything. In fact, with gravity, he told you that he doesn't feign hypotheses. So how could you have Newton coming up with a theory without a hypothesis when you need a hypothesis and experiment to have a theory? That's a neat trick there, John. I'm nitpicking, but I'm nitpicking for a reason. You see, why it's so confusing out there is because the people that are in higher places should know better than this. They should know better than this. Everyone know it's a universal law of gravity. Laws aren't theories. Welcome to 5th grade general science. That's how bad this is. And they say it a number of times. So I wanted to nitpick there. And I think I fired for effect. Anyone have any comment on it?
I agree.
No?
Other than a nod, that's
You just gave me a nod.
a nod. Yeah, a shaky head. Shaky head.
Shaky head. Yeah, like you'd know.
Like one of those British bulldogs that you get on the back of a car seat. A lot of those, yeah. Churchill going, oh yeah. Sure.
Hold on. Now that you brought it up again, I'll have you know I won the spelling bee and the math bee.
You got him on tilt, Adam, with that comment.
In the 8th grade, but I won them. I got my Snoopy trophy.
Take that, Adam.
Yeah, well, if you couldn't spell it, you got no chance of being able to pronounce it, would you?
Exactly.
Too funny, man. Really cool. Any other overall comments on that? Everyone says, yeah. Do you think I was being a bit pedantic about that, or maybe I shouldn't have stopped? Yes? No? I'm not setting you up. As far as you know. All right. Let's get control of this. Betty.
But you said it was.
Hold on, Scrat. Let me fight with Betty a little bit. Is she still watching that show?
She's watching something.
What do you guys want?
Oh. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. I think we've reached the end. Let's get everyone. We'll start up at the top at Arwen and work our way down. Go ahead. Final thoughts and channel shout outs.
Arwen, you are up.
That means you, Arwen. You rumpus the whole time. Now you got nothing to say.
He went to another stream.
What? Mitchell.
Yeah, great presentations again, QE. Especially like the salt flats. It's just measuring Earth as flat. Like that's where I'm going this week. That's where I'm going to be presenting my own things to do with measuring everything that we see as flat. That is just, at the moment, is number one flat Earth proof. Just measuring the world that we have around us as flat. If you want to catch me, I do daily streams, Flat Earth School, on Mitchell from Australia YouTube channel, 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK, 6 a.m. Australian. That's what I'll be every other day. Thanks, QE, for having me. Great presentations.
Thanks, Mitchell. Appreciate that. Make sure you spam your link inside the chat.